The first piece of advice ruined his life. The second seemed to contradict the first. By the time the third arrived, Abel had already decided the old man was either a fool or the only person who truly understands what it meant to stay poor. For as long as he could remember, Abel believed life had singled him out for disappointment. He worked harder than most people around him, yet every month he ended up with the same empty pockets, the same postponed dreams, and the same exhausting questions cycling through his mind. He watched others move ahead while his efforts seemed to disappear into the ground like water poured onto dry sand. The harder he struggled, the more unfair life appeared. One afternoon, as he sat alone, carrying the weight of another failed season, an elderly traveler noticed the frustration written across his face. Abel poured out everything that had been trapped inside him for years. He spoke of endless work, consistent sacrifice, and a future that always seemed to move farther away. The old man listened without interruption. When Abel finally fell silent, the stranger offered only a few simple words. He advised Abel that if he continued spending more than he earned, poverty would always outrun him. The advice sounded obvious, yet Abel embraced it completely. He cut every unnecessary expenses. He denied himself every comfort. Every coin he could spare went into a small container hidden inside his house. Weeks became months. The container slowly filled, but not by much. Every emergency emptied part of it again. Prices kept rising. His income remained almost unchanged. No matter how disciplined he became, the money never seemed enough to change his future. Abel returned to the old man. This time, the stranger surprised him. He told Abel that if all he did was save money, he would still remain poor. Abel left, more confused than before. The advice sounded completely opposite to the first. Convinced the old man had lost his senses, he abandoned every habit of discipline. If saving could not help him, then perhaps enjoying life was the better choice. His money disappeared faster than ever. The little security he had built vanished within weeks. Bills multiplied. Anxiety returned stronger than before, carrying regret alongside it. Abel searched for the old man once again. The old traveler showed neither surprise nor disappointment. Instead, he reached into a small cloth bag and placed 3 ordinary seeds into Abel's hand. He instructed him to plant one seed, eat one seed, and keep the last seed safely stored away. Then he quietly assured Abel that everything he wanted to understand will reveal itself. The instruction felt strange, but Abel followed them exactly. The seed he planted eventually passed through the soil. With time, patience, and care, it rewarded him with a harvest. Yet the harvest remained modest because he had planted only a single seed. The seed he had stored safely stayed exactly as it was. Months later, it remained perfectly preserved, but it had not become anything more than the day he first received it. The seed he had eaten had disappeared forever, satisfying only a single day's hunger before becoming nothing but a memory. Holding the small harvest in his hand, Abel returned to the old man once again. This time the old traveler asked no questions and offered no explanation. He simply looked at Abel with quiet patience and waiting. Abel stared at the remaining grain from his harvest. His thoughts wandered back through every decision he had made. The money he had wasted had vanished, like the seed he has eaten. The money he had hidden away had remained exactly the same, comforting and unchanged, just like the untouched seed. Only the seed that had left his hand and entered the soil had returned carrying something greater than itself. For the first time, the two pieces of advice no longer sounded like contradiction. Spending everything guaranteed emptiness. Saving everything guaranteed stillness. Growth demanded something different. From that season onward, Abel stopped measuring success by how much money remained untouched. He built the habit of protecting part of what he earned, but he also searched patiently for where that money would work beyond him. Some investments succeeded quietly, others failed and taught expensive lessons. Yet, each experience shaping his judgment instead of stealing his hope. Years pass, and people who once believed Abel has simply become lucky never saw the long road that began with 3 ordinary seed, an equation that no one else could answer for him. The greatest change had never happened inside his pocket. It had happened inside the way he saw what every coin was capable of becoming. That is, saving to invest and not necessarily saving money. Like and subscribe to this channel.